Hello friends, I'm Neshik, and today in this video I'll teach you how you can improve your website speed and performance using WPRocket plugin. Now this is the plugin that I use on my main website blogdude.com, and I'm really satisfied with the results and speed improvements that this plugin provides. Also throughout the video I'll give you many more tips and tricks on how you can improve your website speed and performance. Now before we proceed further, before we install this plugin on our website, first of all let me tell you that this is the website that I'll be using as an example, and I'll try to improve the speed and performance of this website. So as you can see, there is a lot of animation going on over here. There is a lot of JavaScript file on this page, and on top of that we have a lot of images. This is a big page, all these things, and we have some more pages, like we have the about page, contact page, services page, and we have this is the basically this is the website that we'll be using in this video. Now if you don't already know, if you have been following my channel, you know that this is one of the websites that I've covered in my tutorials. So if you follow or if you watch this tutorial on how to make a WordPress website for free with Elementor 2020, in this tutorial I have explained you how you can create this entire website. So this entire website is created only using free resources. So we have used only free theme, free page builder and free plugins to create this entire website. And I've given you many tips and tricks on how you can create a professional website and a modern website like this one. So if you want, you can watch that video. Now let's first do one thing. Let's see how our website is performing right now. And after that, once we have used the plugin and once we have done all the settings, we'll again see whether we have seen any improvement or not. So I would recommend you to do one thing: copy your website link and open this in a new private window. Now when this opens in a new private window, you should see how your website is performing, how much time it is taking to load this page. If you click on another page, for example about page, how much time it is taking, as you can see. Then if you click on services page or blog page, how much time it is taking and what is the user experience that you're getting. Now this is the most important thing. And once we do all the settings related to the plugin, I would recommend you to do the same thing again. Open your website in a new tab, in a new private tab, and see whether you have seen any improvement or not. And another thing that you can do is open this website tools.pingdin.com and enter your website link. So just copy your website link from here, enter it over here, and just select the data center that you want to test from. So if you're from Asia, I would recommend you to select Asia. If you're from Europe or any other location, just select that thing and click on start. Once you click on start, you'll get some data over here. First, let me click on this. Now this is the basic data that you see on your screen. So this is basically the performance of your website right now. It is still a very good, very nice performance, I would say. We are getting B grade. The performance is 84 out of 100. Now we have three things in front of us. We have page size, we have load time, and we have request. Now the main aim in this video, our main aim is to decrease the page size, decrease the load time. So it is taking around 2.5 minutes to load the entire page, and the size of the page is 3.5 MB. And this page is sending, or your website is sending, more than 100 requests, more than 100 HTTP requests. And we'll see what this HTTP request is and how we can improve this thing. So let me tell you again, our main aim is to decrease the page size, decrease the load time, and also decrease the request. Once we decrease these three things, your website performance will automatically increase. You can see these things as well over here. If you scroll down, this is they are telling you that you need to do these things. You need to make fewer HTTP requests. Again, I'm saying I'll explain you what this HTTP request is and how you can decrease this thing. We need to add expire headers. Again, I'll explain you that thing. Then after that, we have some more data over here. Now, I would not recommend you to take these numbers very seriously. The only reason I come to these websites is just to see these things at the bottom, is to see this data, so that I can help, this can help me to improve my website speed. And I'll obviously explain you how this will help you to improve your website speed, how this data will help you. Throughout the video, we'll come back to this data and we'll see how we can do some improvement on our website. Now, first of all, go to your website and we need to go to our dashboard and we need to install a new plugin. So click on plugins. Now you can see in the backend also we have around 12 plugins. So this is a pretty heavy website as compared to a normal regular website. Now we need to install a new plugin over here. I would recommend you to do one thing: open a new tab and type in blogdude.com/WPRocket. Now this link is also given in the video description below, so you don't even have to type in this thing. Simply click on that link and you should be redirected to this page. Now here you need to click on this buy now button, and you have three different plans over here. You have the single plan. If you want to use this plugin on only one website, you have the plus plan. If you want to use this plugin on 3 websites, and if you want to use this plugin on unlimited websites, you have the infinite plan. So whatever plan you want, you can purchase that and again come back to this main page. Now once you make the purchase, you have to click on this account button and you will come back to your dashboard. Here you need to click on this button, download WPRocket. A new file will start downloading, as you can see. Now once you have downloaded this zip file, you need to go back to your dashboard, click on add new under plugins, and you need to upload this file. So click on upload plugin and just select this file. I'll just drag and drop it over here and click on install now. Now once it is installed, click on activate plugin. Now once you activate this plugin, you will see a new option will be added for you. So at the left hand side, we have several options. We have this settings option over here. So if you hover over settings, you will see WPRocket at the bottom under settings. Click on WPRocket. Now the first thing that we see over here is this dashboard. I'll explain you more about this dashboard later on, especially about these 3 quick actions. But for now, you can see that you can see which plan you're using, when your plan expires, all those things you can see some basic documentation is given to you, some basic frequently asked questions are given to you. Now the main setting starts over here at cache. So this is the cache option. This is the main setting, the basic setting. Now first let me explain you what is this cache. What is this caching? What is the process of caching? So if you see your website, let me open this website in a new tab. Now if you see this website, whenever someone types in your website name, for example, if I type in blogdude.com, and whenever someone types in this website name, this browser sends an HTTP request to this server, to your hosting basically, and that server will return this page. Okay, so that is basically what an HTTP request is. And every single time when a person clicks on any new link on your website, for example, if they click on About Us page, again a new HTTP request is sent. Now whenever a new HTTP request is sent, for example, a person has typed in your website link or your website name over here, they have landed on this website. So whenever they do that thing, every single time server, your resources is utilized on the server, and every single time the server sees what all the server basically gives you the latest data. Okay, so they go through all the files, PHP file, JavaScript file, HTML file run, and they give you this latest data. Now because of this, some things happen. First of all, your website load time increases, because every time a person is visiting your website or clicking on any link or opening any new page or a new post, new HTTP request is sent and everything is fetched from server on live. So everything is happening live. And when we do caching, what happens is, instead of serving everything live, this plugin will do one thing. This will save a static file. This will save a static version of this page or any other page, basically static file for all the different pages. Now when a person comes to your website, instead of showing them the latest file, the dynamic file, it will serve them this static file. And because of this, your load time decreases. So your website load time will decrease and your website speed will increase. And because of this, also many things will happen. Your website resources, your server resources will decrease. And decreasing the resources utilization on your server is very important. So I hope now you understand what is cache. Basically, again, let me tell you in one line. Caching is basically a process wherein they will save a static version of this file, so that whenever comes to your website, they will serve them this static version instead of that dynamic version. Okay, basically that is what it means. Now desktop caching is automatically enabled. You don't have any option to enable or disable the desktop caching option, but you have enable or disable option for mobile caching. So whether you want to enable caching for mobile phones as well, obviously we do want to do that. So make sure this thing is tick mark, enable caching for mobile devices. Now we have another option, separate cache files for mobile devices. Now this option is only available or applicable to those websites wherein you're using different themes or different plugins for different versions. For example, you're using different theme for desktop, and for when someone visits your website on a mobile phone, you're using a different theme or some extra plugins, something like that. Most of you guys will not need to do this thing. Simply tick mark the first option. Don't tick mark this option, separate cache files for mobile devices. Then you have the user cache option. So whether you want to cache files for logged in users, this is for those, for example, if you have an e-commerce website or an online course website, those kind of website where the person can register on your website, they can log into your website. So we don't want to cache files for logged in users. Okay, so make sure you don't tick mark this thing, because of this, what happens is, if you're an e-commerce website and if you have made some changes on your product, for example, if you have changed the price of the product and if you have enabled caching for logged in users, the price of the product might not change. Or if you have maybe made some changes on your online course, added some other videos, some extra videos, or you have made some changes in the content of your online course, these these changes might not show to your users. So I would recommend you to just untick this thing. Then another option is your cache lifespan. So in this option, what happens is you set a number over here, you set how many hours or minutes or days. By default, it is 10 hours. So all the cache older than 10 hours will automatically be cleared, or deleted, and new cache will be generated every 10 hours. Okay, if you want, you can increase or decrease this number. Now click on Save Changes. Then after that, we have the file optimization option. Now under file optimization, we are focusing on two files, CSS files and JavaScript files. So now again, if you come back to this website here, as you can see, your JavaScript, this is your JavaScript and this is CSS. So in the load time, this thing, if you see the page size 3.5 MB, out of this 3.5 MB, around 20% comprises of JavaScript and CSS file. So if we can optimize these two files, we can decrease the page size by 20%, and ultimately we can increase our load time, we can increase our website performance by 20%. So you can see this data over here. We can decrease these two options over here. We can optimize these two files from here. So again, come back to this page. First of all, the first optimization option is whether you want to minimize your CSS or not. So yes, we want to do that. Now, when you do that, this will tell you that this could break things on your website. So this could basically break your website. So what I would recommend you to do is, once you tick mark this thing, click on Activate Minify. After that, without doing any other setting, first click on Save Changes. Now again, open your website in a new private window to see whether it has broken your website or not, or whether everything is working fine or not. So open it in a new private window. And now as you can see, everything looks perfect over here. Okay, nothing is broken over here. If it is broken, you might not see this design. Okay, you will see broken page, all white spaces everywhere. But here everything looks fine. So I'll cut this thing. Then after that, we have another option. I'll explain you what this Minify CSS is. First, let's see the second option. Now, whether you want to combine these CSS files. So we have many CSS files. We can combine these CSS files. So again, I would recommend you to tick mark this thing. Then after that, click on Save Changes. Again, do the same thing. Open your website in a new private window and check whether everything is working properly or not. So again, everything looks fine. No problem at all. Now let me explain you what is this Minify CSS and what does this combined CSS file means. So if I open this website in a new tab and if I refresh it for now if I click on Ctrl U on my keyboard, a new tab will be opened and you will see your source code. Now under your source code, now as you can see, before every CSS file, now it says min.css. So let me open just any file. For example, let's open this option. Okay. Ocean WP style CSS. So this is the minified version of CSS. Now let me show you how the regular version looks like. So if you see the URL bar, under your URL bar, you will see style.min.css, which means that this is the minified version of this CSS. I'll do one thing. I'll delete .min from here and I'll reload this file. Now, as you can see, this is the original file. Okay. This is how the original file looks like. And now, as you can see, this is such a huge file. Okay. So we have so many spaces over here. Everything is nice and tidy over here. But because of this thing, because the file is so big, this can, this can decrease your page speed and this can increase your load time. So to fix that thing, we minimize this file. So by minimizing, it simply means that we reduce all these extra lines. We reduce all these extra spaces and we cramp it everything like this. Okay. Now, as you can see, the file is so much smaller. So this is basically what it does. This is basically what it means by minifying your CSS. Now, if you want to exclude any particular CSS file to be minimized, you can, enter that file link over here. Now you can also optimize this thing, or you can also tick mark this thing, optimize CSS delivery. Now, same thing for JavaScript. First of all, make sure you tick mark this thing, remove jQuery migrate. And after that, tick mark this thing, minify JavaScript files. Again, click on Activate, and again, I would recommend you to first click on Save Changes. Now again, open your website in a new private window and see whether everything is working fine or not, especially your animations. If you have any animation going on your website, see whether that is working properly or not. So everything looks fine to me. Okay, you can see some other pages as well. All right, so everything looks fine. Everything is working fine. So we can now proceed further. I'll explain you obviously what is this minify JavaScript is. And after that, also tick mark this thing, combine JavaScript files. And again, if you want to exclude any inline JavaScript or exclude any JavaScript files, you can enter the file link over here. Now, Let me load this thing as well. Tick mark this thing as well. Load JavaScript deferred, and tick mark this thing safe mode for jQuery. And after that also make sure you tick mark this thing delay JavaScript execution. Then click on save changes. Now let me explain you what these things mean. So again, if I come back to this website, if I refresh it, and again, if you now open this in a new tab, or if you just press Ctrl U to see the source code, now you'll see JavaScript files are always saved at the bottom in the footer. So if you go at the bottom of this page, here you'll see the JavaScript files. Okay. So first let's explain, let's try to understand what this minify thing is. So again, you will see here, as you can see, it is written min.js. So if you open this thing, this is the minified version. Let me see a bigger file. Now, as you can see, this is a little bit bigger file. If you again open this, if you remove this .min, you will see this is how the regular JavaScript file looks like. And because we have minified this thing, this is how it looks like. So again, this saves some time. So this was related to this option, minify JavaScript and combine JavaScript. Now let's understand what is this load JavaScript deferred. Now, first of all, here the good thing is that all the JavaScript files are added in the bottom. So that is a good thing. Now, sometimes what happens is whenever someone tries to visit your website, there might be some JavaScript files which are very heavy. And because of that, because that JavaScript file is also loading when your page is loading, your website load time increases. So your website speed decreases and your website takes a lot of time to load. So by deferring this JavaScript file, what we do is, or what we tell our website is, load only the core JavaScript, only the main important JavaScript files when the website is loading, and all the extra JavaScript files don't load them until we scroll down to that section or until we click on any particular thing. Only load those extra JavaScript files when we do some action. Okay, that is also very important thing, because if your website is using a lot of JavaScript files, your website might load very slow. So this is also very important option. And similarly for delay JavaScript execution, we do the same thing. As you can see, it is written as well over here. This improves performance by delaying the loading of JavaScript files until the user interaction. For example, until the user scrolls or clicks on anything. Now click on save changes again. Then after that, we have media option. So under media option, we have one thing. First of all, we have Lazyload. Make sure you enable both these options, enable for images, enable for iframe videos, and replace YouTube iframe with preview image. First, let me explain you this thing, and after that we'll proceed further. Now click on save changes. Do the same thing, open your website in a new private window. Now this setting that we have just completed, Lazyload setting especially for images, is very important, especially for those websites which use a lot of images. So by this, what happens is, by this setting, what we do is we do a setting that don't load the images until we see that image on the screen. For example, right now you're seeing only this much content on your screen and we have one image over here. So only this image is loaded. All the other images which are at the bottom, those images will not be loaded until we scroll to that section. Let me explain you. If you just right click anywhere on your page, just right click and click on inspect. Now under this option, click on network, and here you'll see this filter icon. Click on this filter icon and select image. Now let's see what happens. Now whenever some data is getting loaded or downloaded on your website, you will see some changes at the bottom. Okay, the thing that we have opened right now. Now you'll see one thing, when I scroll down at the bottom, those images will start loading. Right now those images are not loaded yet, but when I scroll down, those images will start loading because of this Lazyload thing. Now let me show you. Now as you can see, when I came to this section, now as you can see, the image was not already loaded, but because we came to this section, we scroll down to this section, now it loaded. As you can see over here, again when I scroll down, if there is more images, these images will also be loaded when I scroll down. Now if I open this, now as you can see, these all images that you see on your screen, these all images were loaded later on when we scroll down to that particular section. So this improves and this saves a lot of time for your website. Similarly, if you go to some other page, if I go to suppose about page. Now as you can see, these images and these data are loaded right now. But when I scroll down, now as you can see, these three, team 1, team 2, team 3, these images are loaded only when I scroll down. These three images, as you can see, these were loaded when I scroll down. Now again, when I scroll down, all the other images like these three images, all these images were loaded later on. So this is a very important setting, especially for those websites wherein you have a lot of images. Now let me cut this thing again, come back over here. We also want to disable emojis. We don't want any extra external HTTP request for emojis. We want to use the default emoji that the browser is using. All right. And we also want to embed WordPress embeds. Now click on Save Changes. Then after that, we have the preload option. This is also very important option. First, make sure activate preload is tick mark, and also tick mark this thing, activate sitemap based cache preloading. And you have to enter your sitemap link over here. So you can go to your website. After your website link, just type in sitemap.xml. Now you'll see your sitemap link, and this is how your sitemap page should look like. Now here, as you can see, this is your sitemap link. So copy the entire link, come back to your website, paste it over here. I'll explain you what this preloading is. Let's first click on Save Changes. Now what this preloading does is, if you see, I have another video on my channel. So if you search for Nayesh Sheikh W3 Total Cache, I've shown how you can improve your website speed and performance using a free plugin called W3 Total Cache, which does a similar thing just like WPRocket. But one major difference between that plugin and this plugin is this preloading thing. Obviously, there are many more differences, but this is one of those. Now, when you're using W3 Total Cache, what happens is whenever a person visits your website, for example, let me go back to my website. Now, when a person visits your website for the first time, only few elements are preloaded. For example, if a person goes to About page, first time when a person is visiting, the page speed will be same. Okay, so the page will not load very fast. Now, once the person visits for the first time, this entire page is now saved in the browser. Now, next time when a person visits this page or this website, then this website speed will be faster. But with preloading, with this option, what happens is this entire website, all the different pages, all the different blog posts, everything is preloaded. Everything is preloaded and saved. So whether a person is visiting for the first time or the second time, or whenever it is visiting, whenever the person is visiting, everything is preloaded so that your website speed is faster, whether a person is visiting for the first time or not. That doesn't matter over here. Then again, another very important option, preload links. Now let me explain you this option as well. First, let me click on Save Changes. Again, do the same thing. Open your website in a new private window. And let me explain you what happens by this. Now by this preload links, what happens is, let me again first inspect element, show you that option. Right click anywhere, click on inspect. Now go to network. Now let me show you one thing. Now I'll remove this filter. I'll click on all. I want to now show everything. Now by this option, what happens is, when a person hovers over any particular link, the moment they hover over that link, basically the moment they bring their cursor on that link, that file will be downloaded for you. So that when they hover over that link, the file is downloaded, and when they click on that link, the speed is very fast. So when the moment they click, the page load will be very fast. Let me show you. When I hover over any link, you will see some data will load over here. If I hover over this, now as you can see, the moment I hover over this about page got loaded. You can see the link as well. Now if I click on About page, now as you can see, the page loaded instantly because most of the data was already loaded. Again, if I click on, now again you will see when I hover over Contact Us page. Now as you can see, the moment I hover over this option, some data got loaded and you can see the Contact Us at the bottom. Now if I click on Contact page, the page is loaded instantly. Alright. So this is basically what this means. Alright. Now when we scroll down, we have another option. We have Prefetch DNS Requests. So your website is sending many external DNS requests, for example, for fonts, for font awesome icons, for those things, maybe for some other things. Again, if you come back to the pingdom file, you'll see some requests are sent to your website, and you can see those over here, request by domain. So your website is sending requests to this website, to all these websites. So to reduce some load time on your website, you can do one thing, copy this link from here, come back to this page, and before this link, put 2/ and paste in this link. Now on another line, copy another link, which is this one. Again, 2/ paste in this link. So whenever your website is sending any external HTTP request, we want to prefetch those HTTP requests over here, so that this decreases load time on your website. Similarly for fonts. So if you have any font which is used a lot on your website, you can preload that font file. You can see those font files will be given in your assets folder, in your theme or your plugins folder. You can go and read about these things later on. If you click on need help, or if you go to documentation, you can read about those things in more detail. So you can enter those links over here. So those fonts will also be preloaded so that your website speed increases. Now click on Save Changes. Now when you scroll down, now if you click on Advanced Rules, here under Advanced Rules, if you don't want to cache any particular page, for example, if you're for example here the members page is given as an example. So if you have created an e-commerce website, for example, you can do one thing, you can type in /shop, okay, / and you can copy this thing like this and paste it to here. Let me see. Yeah, this is the format. So this shop page will now not be cached. So whenever a person is visiting the shop page, they're always seeing the fresh file. They're not seeing the cached version of that file. Similarly, if you don't want to cache any cookies, don't want to cache any user agent, you can enter those things over here and click on Save Changes. Then after that, you can see this database option. So under database, you will see if you have any revisions on your website, or if you have spam comments, or if you have these options, these transients, you can decrease or you can just get rid of all these transients on your website. Now click on Save Changes and Optimize. Now for these backups, these revisions, let me show you. Okay, I have cleared it, but let me show you actually if I have anything over here. If you go to your about page or any other page, if you edit that page, because I've cleared it, I think I might not see that again. Now if you go to your any page, your about page, your contact page, because I've cleared it, I cannot see it right now. I should have shown you this at the beginning. Now whenever you're creating your about page, for example, I created my about page today. Now if I made some changes on about page like 3 or 4 times within a week or within a month or within a year, at the right hand side you will see one option. I don't see that option because I have cleared those revisions. At the right hand side you will see one option which would say that you have made 40 revisions or 30 revisions on this page, and if you click on that, that option, you can see all the changes that you have made and when you have made those changes. So by clearing these things, it clears those revisions. All right. Then after that, we have the CDN option. I would highly recommend you to use CDN. In this video, we are not doing this CDN part because that will take some time, some extra time. And that is a totally different topic actually. There is one Max CDN. I would recommend you to use Max CDN. There is one free CDN as well, Cloudflare CDN. So if you want, you can use that thing as well. Here, you just have to enter this C name of your CDN. Then we have the Heartbeat option. Now under Heartbeat option, what happens is, first let me just click on Save Changes. So if you have used Elementor, or if you try to create any page or anything, you might have seen whenever you're creating your page or writing any post, your page or your post is getting auto saved every few seconds. So what we do is we reduce that activity. So instead of getting auto saved every 1 minute, we reduce this to every 2 minutes. Okay, so behavior in backend, behavior in post editor, behavior in front end, we reduce that activity. Again, this will reduce utilization of resources on your server side, and this will make your website a little bit faster. Then after that, if you're using some add-ons, for example, if you're using Google tracking, Google Analytics on your website, you can enable this thing. This will optimize Google Analytics on your website. Now, similarly, if you're using Varnish, Cloudflare, you can enable these options as well. And I don't think we have save option. Now go to image optimization. Now they don't have an image optimization pre-built over here, but there is one plugin, Imagify plugin, you can use to optimize your images. I don't recommend this plugin. Instead of that, there is another plugin which is called ShortPixel. Free plugin, you can use that plugin. Let me show you how you can use that. First, let's cover these two things. Under tools, we have export setting and import setting. So if you're doing this thing for many websites, for example, you have 10-20 client website, and instead of doing the same setting again and again, you can do one thing, you can download the export file. Now when you go to second website, you can simply go to that website, go to tools, now click on choose file, and the file that you have just exported, select that file and import that file. So it will import all the settings for you. Just make sure to change the DNS setting, because DNS for all the websites will be different. Okay, so this is also pretty useful. Then finally, under tutorial, you have some basic tutorials given over here. If you want, you can watch that. I would recommend you to go to documentation to learn everything in more detail. All right. So if you want to get more detail, you can go to documentation and learn everything in more detail. Now let's cover image optimization. And if you see this website, image optimization is the most important thing on this website. Because if you see over here, the total file size, page size is 3.5 MB. And out of that, 60%, almost 60%, 2 MB is only images. So only if you could optimize your images, your website will automatically become 50-60% faster. Because these images that I've used on my website, these are very huge images. I should have optimized these images before uploading on my website? Let me explain you this thing. So whenever you try to, this is just a simple tip that you can use. Whenever you try to, whenever you're uploading any image on your website, for example, let me show you. If you go to unsplash.com, for example, and if you like an image, for example, I like this image. So I'll click on this. Now many people just download this image. Now, if you see the total file size of this image is 15 MB. And some people do one thing, they download it from here or they download it from anywhere else and they directly upload that image on the website. And because this image size is 15 MB, your website page size will be very huge and it will take a lot of time for your website to completely load. So what you should be doing is whenever you're downloading an image, first make sure you download a smaller size image, maybe a small image or a medium size image. For example, if I download this medium size image, 1920 by 1920. Now let me open this. Click on show in a folder. Now here you can see this is the image that I just downloaded. If I open this, now as you can see, this is the image. Now the file size of this image is 460 KB. This is also very big, very huge file size. You should be optimizing this image before you upload it on your website. So there are plugins that you can use that will do it for free to you. And there are some premium plugins as well. But if you want to do it manually, you can do one thing. There are many websites. One of the websites that I use most is Squoosh.app. So you can go to this website and you can do one thing. I'll simply drag and drop this image on this. Now, as you can see, just by decreasing the quality a little bit, for example, here, as you can see, the original file size was 471. Now, if I decrease the quality by 25%, so if I make the quality at 75%, the image size is decreased by 50%. And if I again go ahead and decrease the quality a little bit, if I make it 50%, the image size is now 138 KB. Now you might think that because the image size is decreased by 50%, the image will look totally different. But you can see the difference is very small. Okay, hardly noticeable. Okay, you can see this is the image, almost the same image. So don't worry about this quality loss over here. Even if you select any bigger image like 50% quality decrease or 60% quality decrease, the basic difference, the difference on your website will not be that much. But your file size will decrease drastically. Now, as you can see, your file size is now decreased by 71%. So this is very important. Now you can do one thing, click on this download button. Now you can upload this new file that you have uploaded or you have downloaded from this website. So you should be doing these things so that your website has optimized images, not full scaled images. Now, another thing that you can do is, for example, obviously this is for those who have not yet created their website. If you have already created your website, you have many different images. For example, if I go to media, now what should I do? For example, if I open this image. Now here, as you can see, the image is not that big. It is 800 by 600 pixels, but still the size of the image is huge. Like 300 KB is a very big size. Because of this, your website load time increases and your website speed decreases. So you should be optimizing these images. Now the plugin that I like the most to do this optimization is called ShortPixel. So you can go to plugins, click on add new, and here you can search for ShortPixel. There are many more plugins like this. For example, there is Smash, but I don't like Smash because I'll explain the reason later on. First, let's use this one. ShortPixel Image Optimizer. There is another plugin called EWW, and there are more plugins like this, but I like this one the most, ShortPixel, and I'll explain you why. Now once it is installed, click on this activate button. Now once you activate this plugin, what you should be doing is, first of all, you have to enter your email address and click on request key. When you click on request key, a key will be sent to you, API key will be sent to your email, and you have to enter that API key over here. You can do one thing, you can go to this website, let me show you. Okay, so you can go to shortpixel.com and you can log in with this email address and you will see your API key over here. So if you click on API keys, you will see your API key over here. First, let me log in. Okay, so if I click on API keys, you will see your API key. If you don't see your API key, just enter your website link over here, click on generate, and new API key will be generated for you. Copy this link. Basically, it will be sent to your email address, but if it is not sent, I'm showing you how you can do this. Copy this API key, come over here and click on validate. Now, once you click on validate, you will see a new page will be shown to you. This is the page, as you can see. Now, what we can do is, first of all, we want to compress, we want to optimize our image thumbnails. If you want, you can also back up the original images. I don't like to do this, but if you want, you can do that. So basically, it will back up the original files and it will show the optimized files. And if you have many large images, you can set a maximum width and height for those images. So default number is given at 924. I think this is a good number, so I'll keep it at 924. Click on Save Changes. Then after that, we have the advanced option. Under advanced, you have if you want to convert PNG to JPEG, if you want to do all these things, you can do it. I would not recommend you to exclude any file. Don't exclude any file. Make sure everything is included. All right, rest everything looks good. Now the only problem over here is that with the free plan, you have 100 images credit per month. So right now, how many images you have, this will optimize 100 images for free to you. And for next 100 images, you have to wait for one more month. Next month, it will optimize other 100 images. Or you can do one thing. If you already have a website, if you have a huge website, you can select this option or this option, $10 for 10,000 images credit. And this is one-time payment, and this credit never expires. So you can select this option. You can pay $10 and you have 10,000 image credits. So this is also good. I'm just using the free version right now. So once you do this thing, now go again, click on general setting, and this time click on this option, save, and go to bulk process. Now it will start processing your images. It will show you that there are 50 original images, and these original images, WordPress automatically creates different versions of these original images. For example, as you can see, the 50 original images, WordPress has created 140 thumbnails of those images of different sizes. So obviously we want to include those thumbnails as well. Now once you tick mark these things, at the right hand side you will see start optimizing. You simply have to click on that button and it will start optimizing all your images. And this might take some time, so you can just leave it when it is loading and you can come back later on. Now I'm not getting that option to start optimizing because with this account, where is that account gone? With this account I've already done that. So let me actually do one thing. Let me try to log out and create a new account very quickly. Okay, so as you can see, I have now added another email address over here and I got a new key automatically. Now I can do the same things. Click on Save Changes. Now let me see whether I have any things left or not over here. Let's try it again. Now let's click on this option, save, and go to bulk process. And now as you can see, I'm getting this option to start optimizing. Now just select this option and click on start optimizing. Now this is going to take some time, as I said you earlier. And you can see at the bottom, for example, this image, this is the original image, this is the optimized image, and this has decreased this image file size by 50%. This has decreased this image file size by 80%. So you can see these options as well. This is going to work automatically. Now earlier I said that I'm not using Smush because with this free version of Smush, you cannot optimize the original file size, which is a very big problem because most of the times you're using the original file size. So because you're not able to do that, that is a big problem. But here with the free version as well, you have obviously just a small credit, 100 images, but that is free. That credit renews every single month. Or if you want to use the premium version, obviously you can just go ahead, purchase it for $10 and you have 10,000 image credits. But with this plugin is very important. As you can see, this image got optimized by 95%. You can now imagine how much, for example, if the file size was 1 MB, that file size is decreased by 95%. And this image optimization is very important, especially if you see this option over here. If your content size is if your content size of image is more, for example, the total page size is 3.5 and image only is more than 60%, which makes it 2 MB. So it is very important. Now let it load, and after that, once it is loaded, now as you can see, it will take few minutes, 5-6 minutes. After that, I'll continue this video. I guess now as you can see, it is now completed. As I said you earlier, we have 100 images limit. So after 100 images, it has stopped. So if you want to continue this thing, or this thing will automatically continue next month, or as I said earlier, if you purchase the premium plan, you can do everything right now. Now let me explain you the difference. If you come back to this page, earlier if you remember, this image size was 329 KBs. Now if I click on that image size is same 800 by 600, but the image dimension is same 800 by 600 pixels. Now you can see the size is only 94 KB. So it has decreased by around 60%. Okay, so this is how powerful this plugin is. And because most of the things, because the most important thing that was stopping your website speed was image, this will now drastically improve your website speed. So let's do one thing. Let's open tools.pingdom.com in a new tab. And now let's run this test again. So I'll copy it paste in the link over here and click on start test. And now if you see this score, let's compare these two scores. Earlier it was 84, now it is 93. Earlier the page size was 3.5 and now the page size is 2.2. Now this page size will furthermore decrease, but it is not decreasing more because we have optimized only half the images. Most of the images, the other half images were not optimized. And now as you can see, the load time is decreased. Instead of 2.28, now it is 1.48. Again, I'm saying if you furthermore optimize your images, this load time will go below 1 second. And because we have reduced the HTTP request, earlier it was 107, now it is 47. And now as you can see, if you go at the bottom, now you see the images now come to only 35%. Again, I'm saying if you furthermore optimize your images, your website speed will also increase. Now, most importantly, as I said you earlier, don't take these numbers very seriously. I use this just to get this below data. Now you can go and open your website in a new private window and see whether you see any difference or not. Or if you don't still see any difference, I would recommend you to wait for some time, wait for half an hour maybe, till all the pages, all the blog post is cached, and after that try it again. You will see major difference between what you were seeing earlier before doing all these changes and now what you are seeing, the page speed difference, the user experience on your website. And with this tutorial is also now completed. I hope you guys find this tutorial helpful. If you find this video helpful, make sure you guys subscribe and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any future notifications. Whenever I upload a new video, you get a notification for that. Now if you like this video, give a thumbs up to this video and share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, whatever social media platform you use. And throughout the video, if you have any doubts, any comments, any suggestions for me, you can always leave them in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.